There is always this question. Bam glam, is there profit in bar soap making? Yes or no? This question is all in my DM. One even asked me, please, what is the ROI of bar soap? What is the return on investment on bar soap? I told the person, I don't know. The thing is, if you want to go into any business, you have to actually make good, proper research about that business. And any business that has to do with production, there is profit in it. Secondly, any business that you have to produce things that are being used on a daily basis in every home, there is always a profit in it. Things like tissue paper, things like matches, things like lighter, things like bar soap, detergent, baking soap. So far, people use it every day in their homes, there is profit in it. So the problem now is individual differences, how you actually organize your business. So you watching my video and sending me a message, I finished watching your video, I see what you did, I love you. Please write out the list of the things I need. You that watch the video, what effort have you put into the business? Are you not supposed to use a pen and paper and jot down the things, at least the chemicals you saw me use? Then if you come to me and ask me for the chemical suppliers number, yes, I'll give it to you. You can chat them or call them and get the quotation for prices of chemicals. If there is no profit in bar soap making, people will be producing soap. Even as you're asking me that question, if there is profit in bar soap making, your family must have bought soap that very day or even a day before to wash clothes. So why would you think there is no profit in bar soap making? The major problem every soaper has is selling price. If your selling price is less than your cost price, you will not have profits. Yesterday, somebody sent me a message and told me that she finished making soap, that she couldn't even see her cost, retrieve her cost price back. So I asked her, why would you now sell soap in such a way that after selling it, you'll be at a loss? Your selling price should be greater than your cost price, not the other way around. If your selling price is less than your cost price, you'll be at a loss. But if your selling price is higher than your cost price, you'll be at a profit. So after making soap and proportioning it according to how you buy your chemicals wherever you are in the world, you should always put your own price. Please, this is my own price. So you telling me that the person, let's say you come to buy my soap and you tell me, Bam Glam, this soap I'm holding in my hand in this video is 500 naira for one because of its size. You can see how big it is. This soap is more like a market soap. It's jelly and beautiful. The texture is everything. So I'll be using this high grade bar soap to illustrate this video so that we can actually do it together. So if this soap is 500 naira. For the pink color is a liter. For the green color, olive green color is also a liter. Each of them is 10 bars, is that's 20 bars. So if I should sell one, the pink color, 500 naira each, I will be realizing a total of 5,000 naira from a liter production. So inside this video, I'll be telling you how you can combine oils, how you can gauge your chemicals and use the list of chemicals and don't use everything you see on the internet to achieve a very beautiful soap like this. So many times people tell me, please, I want to achieve the likes of Viva soap and Baby and Me soap. You can see the texture of this soap. I showed it very well in the middle. These are the kind of quality of soap you can do to achieve those textures. And if you don't have the kind of oils I used, and use the exact recipe I use, you will not be able to achieve that texture. So it's not if I finish making it, you will now be altering it and tell me, can I use this other oil or this other oil? Make use of what I'm using here in this video. I'll be going very detailed in this video to explain to you the oil, how I combine the oil, the chemicals. I'll be using them at the barest minimum of the chemicals to make sure I reduce the additives I'm using in this soap, in making of this soap. And you also see the outcome. Now, after making this soap, with the list of my ingredients, you can also gauge your own production in your own house and do your own costing. Because I may be buying oil cheaper, yes, for real, because I buy oils in quantity, but you might be buying in small quantities. That is another end that we need to also attack in profit making. If you are making bar soap and you want to make profit out of it, and you want to go into bar soap making in a big scale, you need to see how you can upgrade how you buy your chemicals. Stop going to the market and tell them to sell 200 gram of caustic soda for you. They will sell it at a very expensive rate. Try to see if you can buy your chemicals in bags, half bags, or quarter bags. That way, they will divide the price of the bag into two or into four for you. That way, you will get a cheap price. But if you want to buy it in retail quantity, they will sell it in retail prices for you. Secondly, your oils. Try and see how you can buy your oils in kegs and not per liters. Because people, if you're buying a liter in a shop, they may sell to you 3,000 naira. Why? If you buy it in a keg, it may come out about 2,200 naira per liter. There are also cheaper oils you should also invest your time in purchasing. Oils like fatty PKO, that is fatty acid. Oils like sludge PKO. After producing palm kernel oil in the factory, it is being filtered and purified so that it can be produced for those who are using it for edible purpose. So the edible grade is filtered. The one we call yellow fever is also filtered. After filtering those oil, the chaff is actually left behind and is black in color, causing the bottom of the oil to be a little bit dark. That grade of oil is called sludge PKO. It's still PKO, but it has dirt in it. So because of the dirtiness, the oil producing companies sell it at cheaper rates. People who sell sludge PKO sell it like a keg of it can be as cheap as 40,000 to 45,000. And it is cheaper for you to use and make soap. People who make bar soap don't use that fine top grade to make bar soap because they are very expensive. So you can buy the cheaper oils for your oil. In this soap making, I use a combination of palm kernel oil and animal fat to be able to make my soap at a ratio of 70:30. For the fact that I added beef tallow to it, I was able to cut down the cost of my oil in this soap making. So if you can combine any other cheaper oil to your palm kernel oil, you will have a cheaper oil. So your cost for oil will actually reduce in the recipe. If you also work on your ingredients and also cut down the quantities of the ingredients you use to make a better soap, you also have a lesser cost price at the end of making your soap. The main thing is to try to see, if you want to make profit in bar soap making, try to see how you can, number one, reduce the cost of your production. Any which way possible, reduce it. Here I use 700 ml of palm kernel oil and 300 ml of beef tallow. You can even do it 50-50. That way, the cost of using only palm kernel oil has reduced. We use palm kernel oil to make bar soap in my own area because it's cheaper for me to get, and it is a very high lathering oil, and it's a hard oil. So it's one of my number one points if I'm making bar soap. Number two, reduce the cost of the additive you add to your soap. In making this soap, I will be using two additives, which are my soda ash solution, because it's laundry bar soap I'm making. I need the soap to actually remove stains and wash. So I added the soda ash solution to it first, and then I added my color and then my soda ash solution. You saw it right now. Then there is no way you can make a soap without lye. So I reduced my lye to 175 gram per liter of what I'm making right now. If for you to have a soap, you need to combine lye solution, which is caustic soda and water, and then combine it with your oil for you to have soap. And there is a chemical process that needs to undergo, which is saponification. Without saponification, you can't have soap. So your end product, which is your soap, it is neither your oil, PKO or beef tallow. It is neither caustic soda, but it is the end product, which is soap. And you can't have soap without saponification. The only reason I normally try to introduce the soda ash water into the oil first is to let the soda ash water to emulsify the oil a bit, so that I will not have my soap cuddling up on me immediately I add my caustic soda. But if your caustic soda always cuddle up your cold process, watch the quantity you're adding. If your caustic soda quantity is on the high side, it may always cuddle your soap. But if it's on the lesser side, it won't. Now I'm making 1 liter soap. So if you are making it in 10 liters batch, it will be different. If you are making cold process, don't use stainless steel, use plastic bowl that is very, very open, so that to avoid your soap heating up, because during saponification process, heat is being released. So you don't need heat when you are making cold process. If not, you experience things like my soap is separating. That your soap is separating is your soap getting too much heat in cold process and trying to gel. So even if you experience that, it's not something you should come and be panicking about. You should control your soap and don't let your soap control you. You can actually put that soap that wants to, that separation means your soap wants to gel. Is nothing again. Before you start blaming the person that sold oil to you and start telling the person you sold bad oil to me, my soap is separating. You can actually continue whisking. If you have a whisker, do high whisking on that soap and it will gel, and that thing would not happen again. If you are using a big turner, continue turning very well. It will stop, it will reduce. So far, you are maintaining cool temperature. But if you are using a stainless pan to make that soap and it's separating, it will continue heating up, because stainless takes heat and give this heat back to the soap. So in as much as you are experiencing that and you don't know how to go about soap separation, you can just carry that soap and place on fire. Turn it a little bit so that the gelling can now be complete. Then you bring it down and pour your soap. You don't need to pour your soap inside your mold and you see oil floating, or you see your soap floating and you start shaking and start panicking. If that occurs in your soap, you should know what to do. You can scoop it back on fire, heat it up, and then re-pour it back. Or if the soap has hardened up, just use a rag and damp out those oil out. What I added now is my sodium silicate, which will help me harden the soap. Have you seen how I'm able to make this soap with only caustic soda, which is the number one component in making every soap? I also added soda ash to it because it is required to actually cleanse. That is the only cleaning agent I'm adding in this soap I'm making, because it helps to remove stains, helps to remove lime scales. In fact, it is needed in your soap. What I'm adding now is my foaming booster. There is nobody that wants to buy a laundry soap from you and wouldn't expect it to be foaming excessively. That is the idea of every person that is purchasing soap. They don't want to hear that it is foam, it is not bringing out ladders or big bubbles when they are using it to wash. That is why I'm adding 150 ml of my foaming booster. This foaming booster, I taught you all how to make foaming booster on this my channel using sulfonic acid and a little bit of caustic soda to activate it. That way, if you add in this activated foam booster into your soap, you will not have oil floating on your soap or your soap separating. Sometimes when you have those oil floating on your soap or soap separating, if you add something like calcium to it, it can even help to bring that soap back together and it won't separate again. Sometimes it's just a little measure you may apply to your soap separating and it will stop. So let's continue making this soap. And then I added my soda ash, I added my sodium silicate as you all saw it. I added the sodium silicate because I need this soap to be very firm and hard. Sodium silicate helps your soap to harden over a while. So if you finish making your soap today and air it, tomorrow the texture is supposed to change. Next tomorrow the texture is supposed to change, supposed to be becoming harder and harder and harder. Sodium silicate is there for you. Then you will need a whisker. Like I said, I'm making a 1 liter batch. That's why it is this small in this my bowl. And then you need your fragrance to make it look beautiful and appetizing. There are cheap fragrance. There are fragrance that are up to 30,000 naira a liter. They are quality fragrance. Fragrance they will market today. The problem is you get money to buy them. And there are also cheap one. I would suggest, if you are just starting to make soap and you don't have money to start making purchase of expensive fragrance, you can buy the most easiest of them all, pine oil. Pine oil is an essential oil, but it smells beautiful and it is one of the cheapest. It's as cheap as 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 naira per liter, depending on where you are placed in Nigeria. And you can use like 100 ml of it to make a liter batch of soap, and it will make your soap to smell beautiful. In fact, even if your soap will be smelling like Dettol soap. So people who don't have their hands a lot of money to buy big expensive perfume can use the littlest of it. And then the soda ash I'm using in this production is soda ash dense, which is the most cheapest. A bag of soda ash dense is about 36,000 to 40,000 naira a bag, while soda ash light can be as expensive as 45,000 naira a bag. You see the way I cut down cost. Now, if your soap batter is still watery like this, just keep turning a bit, and within the next 5 minutes or few minutes, it will just thicken up before you pour. If you pour it when it is still very, very, very light, you may have issues of oil floating and the rest of them. So while I'm still touching my mold and everything, it will just be the batter will be thickening up a bit before I will pour it. Like I said, you can give it up to 10 minutes, and make sure that once you raise your spatula from the soap batter, it is no longer running fluidy like water you are drinking. It should grab a bit before you pour. Inside this soap batter here, we have our oil, combination of oil, PK oil and tallow. We have 175 gram of caustic soda water we dissolved in 400 gram of water, 400 mils of water. We have our soda ash, 100 grams that we dissolve in 400 mil of water. And also another quantity of liquid component we added is the foaming booster, 150 mil, and the sodium silicate 200 ml. So even though we reduced the water to 800 ml of water, we also augmented it back by adding the other liquid component, which is sodium silicate and foaming booster. So at the end, we have a total liquid volume of 1 liter of oil and 1.150 mils of liquid components that we added in this soap. So at the total end, I have a total of 2.150 liters in total. That is the volume of this batter that I'm pouring in this mold. Before you start questioning me in the comment section, what kind of mold is this? This is a PVC pipe mold. You can buy it in your location. Go to where they sell building materials around here and ask for PVC pipe, because I don't really sell it. Before you start asking me to help you and purchase it for you, please, you can just buy it from any building materials vendor around you. You can see the way I wrap the two ends. I'm trying to show you so that you see how I wrapped it. I first used super glue and a white nylon to hold the ends before I now use my transparent tape to gum it right round. This is about 40 inches by 2.5 by 1.5. If you multiply all together and divide by 61, you get the total volume, which is about 2.1 liters. That's what you get. That is how I calculated it. And I knew that if I make my soap with 1 liter of oil and about 1.150 mils of liquid components, I will have a soaping batter that will fill this mold right here. This is a 1 liter mold. Like I said, you can buy it from anybody around you. Ask your plumber, ask your building materials people, show them this video, screenshot it and show them. They will find it for you. You can fetch it around your side and you can make the soap. So one of these soap is weighing about 220 to almost 230 or thereabout, or will I say a range of 200 to 230 grams thereabout. That is the range of the soap weight. I've learned how to incorporate beef tallow to my recipe, and this way I make more profit in my bar soap making because it is cheaper and its final finishing in soap is beautiful. It helps in making the texture of the soap to become beautiful, translucent and jelly, just like the market brand or the market type, the ones they sell in the market. I don't know the country you are from, but I believe the soaps they sell in your superstores have this beautiful finishing on their body that you always want to make those kind of soap. Can you see how beautiful this soap I made is? So try and see how you can work on all the tips I have dropped in this video. I made this video to be all about profit in bar soap making, how you can make profit in bar soap making. I concentrated more on the recipe and I also gave out a whole lot of tips. In summary and in conclusion, I talked about how you buy your chemicals, that you should buy in bags, in quarter or in half, that you should also look out for cheaper oils like fatty oils, sludge oils, beef tallow. Beef tallow is one of the cheapest oil. A bucket of beef tallow is about 24,000 naira and you can get about 17 liters of oil from it. That's the one I know. You can, if you want contact of people who sell these oils, you can communicate with me on WhatsApp. I will share some of their contact with you. Please, I'm not advertising for anybody. I'm just helping people make a living and make money from what they do and source for materials in cheaper quantity. For fragrance, I said stop buying expensive fragrance. The cheapest of them all is pine oil, Pina. It is an essential oil and is very cheap and affordable. You can make use of it to do your soap. Also try and work on the sizes. For the size you are cutting now, if you are cutting the thickness of your soap to be 1 inch, reduce it to 0.9. If you do it like that, you earn extra 2 logs after cutting your soap, of which will make you to make more money. If the thickness of your soap is about 1.5 inches, reduce it to 1.25. That way you make more money. If the length of your soap is 4 inches, try and see how you can work on it to be about 3.5 or 3.3 inches. That way you also make more soaps. Avoid cutouts in your soap. Cutout helps also make you to lose money. Also see how you can make sure that your selling price is always higher than your cost price. The cheapest oil in town is beef tallow. Try and make sure you buy beef tallow. It's as cheap as 24,000 naira a bucket, like I said before. If you try and implement all these things in your soap, you actually make profit. And the final tip is, don't sell to your neighbors to avoid see finish. Try and see how you can make your soap, brand it. Once it's dry, put it in nylon and push it out to the market. Those market women out there who does not know you, who saw you for the first day and bought your soap, you have more good business and good rapport with them than people who knows you for a very long time. Those women will buy your soap from you in cartons and they will keep selling for you. You will come back, pick your money, give them more soap. Before you know, you increase the quantity you produce per day self and the quantity you produce per week. Before you know, people will start scouting for you in the market. So just package it so that it won't look like a local soap. Make it beautiful. You see the way I made this soap without using any expensive cutter. I use a potato crinkle cutter now. I use a normal PVC pipe, and yet I have a beautiful soap, and I use a beautiful recipe without even buying a table cutter or a mini soap cutter. Meanwhile, if you also want to work on your sizes, you can contact me on WhatsApp using the number on the screen. I sell table cutters and mini tabletop cutters, and it is very affordable for you to start up your business. And the sizes I work with is also okay for you to make profit in. You can chat me up on WhatsApp for that. We can ship to any part of Nigeria. We can also ship to Ghana. We can also ship to Cameroon if you want to buy those materials from us. So please feel free to contact me on the WhatsApp number on the screen. So if you send a WhatsApp message, please just go straight and drop your messages so that immediately we read it, will respond to it. They avoid too much calling because most of the times which I shoot videos, if I'm not shooting, I'm editing. If I'm not editing, I'm attending to customers. If I'm not doing that, I'm attending to my newborn or to my family. Most times I don't have that time to sit down and have a long chat with somebody. So just always drop a WhatsApp message and I will respond to it. Thank you all. I forgot to tell you to like this video. Please click the like button, subscribe to my channel and share my video. Thank you.